Other news, the US President Joe Biden is set to arrive in Belfast tomorrow on a visit to mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement. Joining us is Dr. Shola and Scotty to talk about it in more detail. Ladies, good morning. Good morning. Let's start with you, Scotty, if I may. So, the President is on his way to Northern Ireland very soon, very close to his heart, isn't it?
It is, as he is self-declared to be the most Irish president ever since John F. Kennedy. Now, a lot of people are kind of scratching their heads at this. Now, I do believe we should celebrate any time that you get an agreement that has brought peace and compromise to an area, as we have seen the Good Friday agreements. But at this point, some people are wondering, why is President Joe Biden, with everything going on in this world right now that he needs to be focused on, whether it be China, Ukraine, issues that are going on in the Middle East, of all the places he's deciding to visit, he's deciding to go back to what he considers to be his home roots. And a lot of people think this is more of a political move, more show than actual good, because for many years he actually has given support to the people who believe that Northern Ireland shouldn't even exist.
Shola, what do you think? More show than business?
I don't think so. And happy Easter, Scotty. Listen, I think that what Biden is demonstrating here is that he is able to walk and chew gum at the same time. People, we know there's so many things happening in the world. So does Putin, whether it's Ukraine or China. And you have to realize that a lot of the people involved in all of these situations are also doing 2-3 things at the same time. There is absolutely nothing wrong in the President of the United States going to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, especially at this pivotal time with the whole Brexit tension and the potential conflict that it might cause to the Good Friday Agreement. And you know what? What is wrong with him returning to his ancestral roots? I think that establishes the rapport. I mean, he's not going to be the first U.S. Irish president. I believe there have been at least 22 before Joe Biden. It's a good thing to do, and I think it helps to demonstrate the United States' ongoing commitment to maintaining peace in Northern Ireland, so that the Tory government here don't get any more ideas in their heads that they can continue to do whatever they like, and they will end up having some kind of special deal with the United States. I see nothing wrong with it.
Scotty, I mean, this president would suggest that he's more Irish than a leprechaun, but even those that are not chasing their Irish roots, even like people like Ronald Reagan going back that far, they still seem to have that affinity with Ireland. And of course, George Mitchell very much involved with eventually bringing about the Good Friday Agreement. What is it about the link between the US and Ireland?
Well, first of all, I think it's interesting that we've set the bar so low that we're celebrating a president that can walk and chew gum. I think that speaks volumes about how diplomatic relations with the United States and our involvement in foreign conflicts have gone, if this is the bar that we're setting. But obviously, there is a great big tie between the Biden family and Ireland, regardless of his personal ties on it. But bringing peace to the area, I find that to be very interesting, considering just 2 weeks ago, Northern Ireland's terrorism unit actually had to raise its level from substantial to severe. So if anything right now, President Biden coming to this area at this time is putting probably more strain, more toughness on potentially a terrorist attack happening in an area that's already contentious right now. And I think the other element that needs to be mentioned here is it's kind of a slap in the face, obviously, to the people within Great Britain, because the president is choosing to go to this, which is good, but he's also choosing not to go to the coronation of a king, a very historical moment that that several generations have not been able to see. So I think there's a twofold here in going what the president's really doing, but make no mistake, he's doing this also for one reason. He wants to remind the Irish Americans here at home, and there's a large contingent of them, mainly blue-collar workers, that he's still relatable to them, that he's not forgotten his Irish roots, and hopefully that will pay off for them in 2 years. Once again, it always comes back to an election when it comes to Joe Biden.
Scotty's got a point there, because, the president could come to the coronation. He has purposefully chosen not to come, sending Dr. Biden instead.
With all due respect, now what's wrong with that? I mean, people make it sound like in the last 70 or so years, and even when Queen Elizabeth was being coronated, was the U.S. president there? People, please, let's just focus on what matters here. If Biden cannot attend the King's coronation and the First Lady is coming, what is wrong with that. I don't think a lot of British people actually care, all right? And the hypocrisy of the Republicans never fails to, amuse me, because the Republicans are the ones that are very well known of making mountains out of a molehill and making something out of nothing. At the end of the day, the Biden administration is still on top of all of the current ongoing issues, and it is right that they should be here. I already pointed out Brexit and how much Brexit has caused a lapse, for instance, in the government of Northern Ireland. There's not been a devolved government there since this whole Brexit issue. And I would have thought that is very important. If he can't make it and he has made his personal excuses to the king, which the king has accepted, and he's sending his better half, the love of his life, to represent him, I don't see the problem.
No politics there then, Scotty?
Oh, it's 100% politics right now. And take it to whoever the politically correct moment is and what the contention that's going on. It's still respect for the office, the placeholders, the historical moment that will be happening with. And I think it's an absolute slap in the face to all of the United Kingdom, the British people, for him not to attend himself. But also, I think it's interesting. You mentioned the pot of gold. I think you cannot say that he's got his pulse on the finger of what's going on in the world today, when in the last week we have seen a large amount of countries that used to trade in the U.S. dollar decided to convert over to the Chinese yen. So maybe President Biden's coming over to Ireland to find that pot of gold, hopefully to try to get people back thinking that they have some sort of faith in the U.S. dollar, which under President Biden these past few months obviously is not happening.
I mean, Scotty, I've said before that selective amnesia, I think, is a very powerful tool that the Republicans use, because in Trump's time, Trump did not do a great job. Not only did he not have he did not have his finger on the pulse, but he created problems along the way. So whether that was trade, economy, foreign relationships with other governments. And so when you start talking about Biden in such a negative way, which I am not surprised that is part of the role. I think that anybody can see through this and say, look, it is a good thing that Joe Biden, as U.S. president, is coming to Northern Ireland. The whataboutism about the king's coronation is irrelevant. If he doesn't come for the king's, coronation, who cares? There are people, millions.
It's just history. Who cares? It's just history.
There are
no big deal. Come on.
There are millions of people in the United Kingdom who are not going to be switching on their TV to watch the coronation. Millions who are not going to even be present. So, quite frankly, if Jill Biden was here, I think the VP would have been good to, come, the vice president. But if Jill Biden is going to be here instead of Joe Biden, that's a good thing. If there was going to be no representation whatsoever, then you would have a leg to stand on. But there will be representation for the United States, and that's a good thing.
Okay. Don't say that, Shola. I'm cramming at the moment to have everything I need to know about the coronation on the 6th of May, and you're saying people aren't going to tune in. We're going to have to leave it there, sadly, ladies. And I should also say, of course, that Joe Biden is coming for a state visit, which was offered, and he has accepted from the King. So I just need to throw that in as well. Ladies, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us on Easter Monday. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.